Happy Sabbath, church. Happy day. Today I want to share a story that really made me think about how God works in different ways in our lives. It's about a girl called Eugene from South Korea, and her story reminds me how sometimes we experience faith. At times it's strong at one moment and then distant and uncertain at another time. So when Eugene was 9 years old, her mom gave her a book to read. She said to Eugene, "Since you love reading books so much, you should read this too," her mom said. The intention her mom had when she was giving Eugene this book was so that Eugene could learn English more, because she was very enthusiastic about reading. The book her mom had given her was Steps to Christ by Ellen G. White, and the version was in both Korean and in English. Being an obedient girl, Eugene read the book everywhere, like at school, at home, when she was on the bus, she was always reading the book. And within a week, she managed to read the Korean bit of the book. Although she didn't quite understand everything she had read, by the time she had finished reading Steps to Christ, Eugene felt a conviction to be baptized. So Eugene ran to her mother and she was like, "Mom, I want to be baptized." But when her mom heard this, she told Eugene to wait since she was 9 years old. And normally, children would think about getting baptized when they're around 13 years old. Although Eugene was disappointed, she decided to wait. When she turned 13, the conviction she felt when she was 9 was no longer there. It had already faded. So since her friends were getting baptized, Eugene decided, let me also get baptized, but she didn't feel the conviction that she had felt. As she grew older, things began to change. She started drifting away from God. She made new friends who weren't going to church on Sabbath. She also started skipping some Sabbaths. And she even started questioning God's existence. But when Eugene turned 16, something changed. She volunteered for an evangelism program where she was handing out flyers to young people to attend church meetings. On the first night, no one came to the meeting, and Eugene felt so discouraged. When a missionary saw this, the missionary went and prayed with Eugene. And the next night, people that Eugene had invited turned up to the meeting. Amen, church? After that, Eugene felt encouraged. So again, another turning point was when during the meeting, it began to rain really heavily, and they began considering canceling the meeting. Eugene decided to pray to God to stop the rain so that they may be able to continue the meeting. And by the time she was done praying, the rain had stopped. When Eugene went back to school, her Adventist high school, she joined a student-led prayer group called the Kneelers, where they met every Friday to pray. After all that had happened during the holiday where she prayed and it stopped raining and people came to the meetings they had, Eugene felt a conviction to pick up Steps to Christ again with some of her fellow students and reread it with a new set of eyes. Eugene was so grateful that she had read this book when she was a child because it had planted a seed in her heart. And now she says, like, the book Steps to Christ can't be read too many times because every time she reads it, she gets a new perspective on it. Eugene's story reminds us that faith isn't always a straight line. Sometimes we feel close to God, and other times we drift away, but God never gives up on us. He always brings us back, whether it's through a book, a prayer, or a simple moment like stopping the rain. This Sabbath's offering is going to go to building a gym and a missionary camp in Seoul, South Korea, where Eugene and her friends can be worshiping. To close, I'd want to share a quote that is in Korean, which says, "여호와를 위리하라 내 길을 인도하시리라," which means trust in the God with all your heart and he will direct your paths. Amen.